Minecraft's most destructive boss. A monster that we must build. Why? Why is this thing the only mob in the game created through ritual? Why does it require soul sand and skulls, symbols of death and corruption? Why does it drop the Nether Star, a fragment of light that's too powerful to exist anywhere else? Maybe the Wither wasn't a natural monster at all. Maybe it was an ancient weapon. Let's start with what makes the Wither unusual. Unlike the Ender Dragon, who already exists in her realm, or the Warden, who is summoned by the environment, the Wither is built. Players construct it using a T-shaped structure of soul sand or soul soil topped with 3 Wither skeleton skulls. Only when completed does the creature come alive. The Wither is not a mob that spawns naturally. Its formation necessitates components that imply a ritualistic process, the skulls of undead warriors, and blocks imbued with trapped souls. The animation that occurs during its summoning is brutal. The mob charges, detonates with immense power, and subsequently begins to spread chaos. No other mob operates in this manner. Even the Iron and Snow Golems, which are 2 other constructed mobs, serve as passive protectors. The Wither stands in stark contrast. It is a supreme destroyer. This strongly indicates deliberate design and does not occur naturally. It was intended to be created, and when something is made, it implies that there is a purpose behind it. But what purpose would a civilization have for unleashing this nightmare? The recipe itself is revealing. Soul sand, or the soul soil, which is found only in the Nether soul sand valleys, covered with fossils of massive long dead creatures, emits ghostly faces and slow movement, suggesting trapped souls within. In lore terms, it's a graveyard material, tied to death and imprisonment. Wither skeleton skulls throw rare drops from wither skeletons and nether fortresses. These skeletons are taller, darker, and more dangerous than normal skeletons. They inflict the wither effect, a corruption of life force. The fact that their skulls alone can trigger the summoning shows that they're not ordinary undead. They're specialized remnants, perhaps soldiers of an ancient war. Put it together, the ritual requires soul energy, plus warrior remains, a formula for creating the ultimate weapon from death itself. This is not accidental. Minecraft doesn't usually mix symbolism so heavily. The Wither's crafting recipe reads like instructions left behind, dangerous knowledge builders once used and later buried. To understand why anyone would build this thing, look at its abilities. Explosive Birth. Upon spawning, it charges and detonates, causing massive destruction, perfect for sieges. Projectile attacks. It fires explosive skulls that devastate terrain. Unlike the dragon, the Wither changes the map permanently. Wither effect. A deadly status that drains health and prevents regeneration. In lore, this could symbolize corruption of life itself. Flight and mobility. The Wither hovers and relentlessly hunts targets. It can't be contained easily. And self-healing. It regenerates over time and even gains immunity to arrows in its armored phase. This isn't a natural predator. Rather, it's a manufactured being designed for warfare, durability, and complete annihilation. Upon its death, it drops the Nether Star, an exclusive artifact that cannot be acquired through any other means. The Nether Star energizes beacons, which emits light through bedrock and provides widespread benefits to civilization. So, the builders may have seen the Wither as both sword and battery, unleash devastation, then harvest its heart to fuel great machines. Now, where do we find the Wither's components? The Wither skeleton skulls only drop from mobs and nether fortresses. These massive labyrinthine structures stretch across the nether, but like ancient cities, they seem abandoned. Why were they built? They house blaze spawners, sources of endless fire. They store nether wart, the basis of potion brewing, and they're guarded by wither skeletons. When we consider this as military architecture, fortresses made to resemble factories of warfare, flames generate energy, wart transforms into alchemical materials, skeletons guard the corridors, and skulls serve as components for rituals. It's conceivable that the builders designed these fortresses as laboratories for weapons, strongholds where the Wither was examined, summoned, and unleashed. The arrangement of these fortresses throughout the Nether might suggest a network of outposts established during a large-scale conflict. If that's the case, then the wither skeletons we encounter today could be the deceased warriors from that battle, doomed to remain forever bound by the weapons they assisted in creating. Killing the wither yields exactly one item, the Nether Star. This glowing artifact is essential for crafting beacons, pillars of light that pierce the sky and grant powerful effects: speed, strength, regeneration. Think about that. The wither is powered by souls. It remains create an artifact that powers civilizations. Beacons themselves resemble lighthouses, monuments, or even energy towers. The builders could have utilized the wither not just for combat, but also for construction. Picture legions advancing with a beacon's glow behind them, bolstered by enhanced strength and agility. A society driven by soul-based technology. However, there's a drawback. In order to obtain a Nether Star, you need to survive the very creature being summoned. It's a perilous cycle. Conjure the beast, conquer it, and then harness its essence. Maybe the builders perfected this method until their downfall. Here's the theory in full. The ancient builders, seeking power, experimented with soul energy in the Nether. They discovered that they could fuse soul sand with warriors' remains to create the Wither, a weapon capable of erasing enemies and providing immense power through its star. They built nether fortresses as laboratories and summoning grounds. They harvested skulls from fallen warriors, brewed potions, and unleashed withers during great wars. Their cities may have been lit with beacon towers powered by harvested stars. However, the weapon ultimately turned against those who created it. The Wither is uncontrollable, attacking all living things. Entire civilizations may have been wiped out by their own inventions. Gradually, the knowledge of the summoning ritual became a forbidden topic. Survivors fled the Nether, leaving behind dilapidated fortresses and cursed skeletal warriors. The overworld was also marked by devastation, craters, ruined portals, and scattered artifacts. Centuries later, players stumble upon the recipe once more. 4 blocks of soul sand, 3 skulls. The cursed weapon rises again. This theory explains why the Wither is built, not spawned, why the recipe is ritualistic, why it drops a unique artifact, why fortresses exist full of wither skeletons. It reframes the Wither not as a random boss, but as Minecraft's most dangerous relic of war. If the Wither was a weapon, how does it tie into other mysteries? The End. Some suggest that the builders fled the Wither into the End, sealing themselves away behind obsidian gateways. The End cities, with their wealth and shulkers, could be remnants of refugees who escaped the Wither's devastation. Ancient cities, unbreakable, reinforced deep slate, might be another attempt at containment, maybe not for the Warden, but for the fallout from Wither wars. Ruined portals, scattered across the overworld. These suggest frantic movement between dimensions. Survivors may have tried to escape or fight the Wither across realms, leaving broken gates as scars. Illagers, practitioners of dark magic today, could they be the descendants of builders who once dabbled in Wither rituals? Their evocations, vexes, and obsessions with totems feel like echoes of forbidden sorcery. The Wither's presence then isn't isolated. It's a puzzle piece connecting multiple ruins, structures, and mobs into a single picture. An ancient arms race that ended in collapse. This theory isn't just spooky, it changes how we see the game. The Wither isn't just the other boss, it's a relic of humanity's hubris. It represents technology gone too far, a weapon built without regard for consequence. Minecraft rarely hands us explicit lore. Instead, it scatters symbols like soul sand, skeleton skulls, abandoned fortresses, ruined portals. The Wither as a weapon theory unites those fragments into a haunting story that once a civilization wielded ultimate power and paid the ultimate price. Truly unfortunate. And when we summon the Wither today, we're not discovering something new, we're repeating their mistake. The Wither isn't nature, it's memory. A weapon of war, a civilization's undoing, and maybe our future mistake that players are not aware of. So tell me, do you think the Wither was meant to be controlled, or was it always destined to destroy? Leave your thoughts below, and subscribe if you want more journeys into Minecraft's hidden lore.